Hare Krishna. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Thank
It's
you.
an honor to be here. I'm a little nervous. My question is, how do you attain unconditional love for all beings without judgment, starting with myself? And how do you overcome the obstacles to attain that? Thank you.
So, very good question and very important for our life. To understand this, we have to understand some basic concepts of life and of this whole creation. You see this table? Does it have some purpose or it is purposeless? It has some purpose, right? You see this clock, this pen, anything you see all around you, they all have a purpose, right? You don't see anything here which is purposeless. What about you? You are also part of this creation. And you are also created. All these things were created by somebody, right? The table was made by somebody, clock was made by somebody, these books, light, everything. It was created, it was produced, some planning went behind it, and they all have purpose, and in fact they are being used for that. Now my question is that as a human being, you are also created, right? So anything which is created has a purpose, like all the objects which we see all around. So now the question is that what is your purpose? Because everything here, what you see is meant for others. The table is not for the sake of table, right? Table is for someone else to use it. And like that, all objects, even your dress, it is not for its own sake, it is for something else. But as human beings, we have two problems. And because of that, all other problems come. So unless we understand that, there is no question of unconditional love. And there is no question of any good relations. So first is that we don't know what is our purpose. And it's quite amazing that we, who are sentient beings, we don't know why do I exist? What is the purpose of my life? And we don't ask this. Very crucial, fundamental, and most important question, why do I exist? And because we do not ask this, then someone else takes charge of your life. And then you are guided by that. Because I know that this table has purpose and therefore I use it. But if I did not know this, then somebody will come and tell me, no, do this. You can actually take these parts and burn to remove your cold or something. But because I know it, so I will not do that. Then second thing is that, first of all, I do not know what is the purpose of my life. And secondly, I think that everything else, sentient or insentient, is for my sake. I have to consume this for my happiness. So this is the basic fundamental principle of consumerism, which is a flawed principle and root cause of all troubles. Because it's not true. Everything is not meant for you. Because there are other people also. And then there is somebody who is beyond all that, who has created it, so he knows what is the purpose. Just as I made the table or someone else made, then they know for what it is being created. It's like if you buy any gadget, Then along with that you get a user's manual, right? How to use it, and troubleshooting, and how not to use it. And they will say, don't, if it is 110 volt, don't put 220 volt. It will blow out. So it's written there. So similarly, our body, our mind, our intelligence as human beings, they're also designed, and they're designed for certain purpose, and they function with certain parameters. What kind of fuel to be put inside? It's a machine, and very beautiful machine, better than any gadget or robot. It adjusts. But if we do not know this, what is its purpose, why we exist, and how do I fit in this whole system, then we are just fed by some people who are smarter than us, and we believe them. And then we live our life accordingly and suffer. So, if we know these things, then we can think of this unconditional love. So unconditional love means that my life is for someone else. That's what love means. The difference between love and lust. Lust is for myself, that I want to enjoy. That is the consumerism. And love is that I sacrifice myself for the pleasure of another person. Lust is that I want pleasure. I want to enjoy. I am the center of the universe, and everything revolves around me. Right? And it looks like that. But it's not true. Whether everything revolves around me or I revolve around others, that has to be studied. Sometimes things look like that. Sun looks like that it is going from east to west, but it's not like that. So, unconditional love, or love in general, means that there is somebody who is the object of my love, and I am the source of that love. And the love flows from me to that object. And the purpose of love, the basic essence of love is that I feel happy by giving happiness to the person whom I love. When I see that person happy, I feel happy. There are two ways to derive happiness. One is that I consume something and I feel happy, I eat, I enjoy, whatever, drink, dance, have sex. This is for me. I'm not concerned about the other product. So this is basically violence. That whatever it is, I'm just going to demolish it for my pleasure. So that is lust. Sanskrit it is called kama. And when I know that no, that is not actually the purpose of life. Purpose of life is that I live to give pleasure to others. That is prema. So God, He is like that. He loves everybody and He does good to everybody. And those people who are godly, they also have the same character. And then this is also expected from us, because that is the only way we can be happy. Competition comes when I become the center, because then the other person wants and I also want. Then who is powerful, more intelligent, that will win, and the other one will be exploited. But if we are all working for one goal, and that's giving pleasure to the other, then there is no competition. And that is most satisfying to us. The most satisfactory moments in our life are only when we are actually in some sort of love with somebody. There is nothing which compares to that. And if this love is directed towards the Supreme Person, who is the source of all personality, then that love is the greatest love and the greatest pleasure. Love and pleasure are actually synonyms. There is no other happiness besides love. Other type of happiness is actually a big illusion. It's just like when you feel hungry, so you are suffering from the hunger. Hunger means some sort of trouble, sort of disturbance. And then you eat food, you feel satisfied. So that satisfaction is actually not coming from the food. It is coming because your trouble is going away. So that's why you can only enjoy food only when you are hungry, otherwise you cannot enjoy it. If there was happiness in food, it should give you all the time. It's like fire is hot. That is its intrinsic quality. So whether you like it or you don't like it, whether you know it or you don't know it, whenever you touch it, it is hot. Its heat is not dependent on you. But pleasure which comes from food is dependent on how much you are in need of it. So therefore, same food can give you more pleasure, less pleasure. Same food can give different quantity of pleasure to different people, depending on their own demand, requirement. So basically in this material world, we first have some agitation, disturbance or imbalance in the mind, which we call as desire. Desire means imbalanced state of mind. And then we try to balance it by supplying it. So when that desire is fulfilled, then we think that this object gave happiness. No, it did not give happiness, it actually got rid of your desire. But the problem in this system is that when you get rid of this desire and you do not know, then this creates an impression in your mind. And that impression then gives you another desire for it. And then you become slave of that. Then you are forced to do it. Then that creates a lot of troubles. And then even if the desire is satisfied, then another desire comes. So it goes on like that. So in that state, there is no possibility of unconditional love. Because if there are two people who are full of desire and they meet, so they both are going to exercise their abilities to fulfill their desire. But because it does not look very modest or nice to say that I'm going to just exploit you for my happiness. So, and then other person is not going to be very pleased to hear that. So then what we do, we paint it and they say, I love you. And I cannot live without you. But really behind it is that I just want to exploit you and get as much juice out of you as possible. And the other person is also trying the same thing. But because we are both in need of that, then we tolerate. But it cannot be lasting. It is not unconditional. This is called conditional love. So when your condition is satisfied, then love is there. When condition is not satisfied or partly satisfied, then there is some crack. And if it is not satisfied at all, then there is a divorce, then separation. Or one party is getting more than what you are getting, then there is a clash, fighting, quarreling. Why you do this to me? Why you do that? So then all this goes on. So if we want unconditional love, then we have to understand that there is this universe. Universe means one unit. It is uni. It's not many. It is one. And there is one person behind it. And we all have one goal, then only we can cooperate. If we have all independent goals, if we think ourselves as the center of the universe, then there is no question of love. Then there is a war. And the strong will always exploit the weak. This is the law. But when love is there, then strong will help the weak. Because the strong does not have the need to exploit. So therefore, to have unconditional love, first I have to become satisfied within myself. If I have demands, then it is not possible, because these demands will keep on troubling me, causing me different thoughts, wishes, so that I try to fulfill them. Is it clear what I have said? It makes sense? So this Krishna, he is the unconditional lover. Because he is always smiling, he is happy himself. And he works for others. He says this in Bhagavad Gita, that na vaptam avaptavyam vartayavach karman. He says, I have nothing to achieve, but I always work. Why? For others' good. And anyone who is like that, people love that person. Because anybody who exploits you and you know it, why would you like that person? So those people who are considered as great people in the history, they are the one who did something for others. Otherwise, there have been many people who have lived life for their own sake. They are forgotten, who cares for them? So this is the message which Krishna gives, this is the message which he came to teach, and he lives it. It's not that he is just giving a sermon, but he also lives like that. And he shows that this is the way you can be happy, actually happy. You don't need too many things to be happy. Now the consumerism has put this idea in our head that we need too many things to be happy. And all the time they're putting more and more ideas in our head. You need this, you need this. How can you be happy without this? Once I was in, where was it? I think Munich airport, there was a big ad of a car. And it said that, what did it say? Exact word I don't remember, but the sense was that this is love. So they use all the words which are fancy, attractive, but have no meaning. And because we are hungry for love, so we fall for it. But better to understand. Okay, anything else? Any other question? Yeah.
Hello. Okay. Thank you. It's an honor to be here. Honored to meet you. Thank you. It's a kind of a follow-up question, I suppose, in a way. When it comes to self-love, can you explain why I personally, and I know many of us, have an issue with the idea of self-sabotaging, when we know what we need to do, yet something keeps us from doing it within ourselves, and then we then end up becoming upset with ourselves and so on.
Yeah, so this problem is rooted in our childhood upbringing. You see, our mind, it works on certain programs, like a computer. So computer is hardware, and then there is a software inside. And software is that what makes it work. Without software, it won't do anything. So our body is also like that. It's a hardware. And then there are programs inside. So this programming starts actually when you are in the womb of your mother. even before you have come out, the programming begins because your mind is developing. And the programming happens from the external. We have 5 senses, and all the time sensations are going inside us. So in the beginning, when a child is born, then child does not know things around. So therefore child is very observant. The baby is very observant, sees everything and grasps everything and wants to take everything inside. Even physically, you give anything to the baby, what does it baby do? Put in the mouth. So he wants everything. So this is the programming period. And our development happens at 2 levels. One is the physical level, other is the psychic level. So it means generally when you buy a machine, the machine does not grow. Right? Buy a mobile phone, it remains. This machine is very extraordinary. It also grows. And it grows physically and psychically. Means both hardware and software both grow. If you buy a computer, the hardware is fixed, you can put software, various types of it. But this machine is very interesting that physically also it is growing and psychically it grows. So physically we need food. So eat food, the body grows. And psychically we need love from our parents especially. So then we grow. But if you do not get love, what happens that physically you grow, psychically you remain stunted. That's why there is talk about inner child. So why inner child? Because external is not child. External is adult, grown up, but inner, the psychic, is still child. So when people, if they are not given proper love and good relations, then what happens that they remained stunted at the psychic level. Their growth stops. Somebody's growth may stop at 5 years of age, 10 years of age. I think they did a survey, most people are like, they don't go beyond 12. So then they are growing up. That's why it is very easy for these people who are sitting on top of the society to exploit us. Because you may look big, but your mind is not that much grown up, so they exploit that. And they tell you do this, do that, and you believe that. So if you grow, then you will have a sense of discrimination, then you will not just agree just because somebody says, you will think for yourself. So in the childhood, if we do not get proper love and care, security, we need basically 3 important things. One is food, sleep, and love. These are very important for our growth in our childhood. If we don't have good sleep, brain doesn't develop. This is scientifically proven fact. Even adult, if you don't get good sleep, a lot of problems come. Same with food, because this body is made of food. This body is nothing but refined food. So food also acts at 2 levels. Food is not just physical level, it also has influence on the mind. So those of you who know sattva, rajas, tamas, so that is the subtle part of the food. It doesn't look like. By seeing the food you cannot say this is sattva, rajas or tamas. But it is having that effect. So that influences your mind. So anyway, if you do not get enough care in the childhood and the parents were negligent and then you have to take care of them or something, then what happens that you neglect yourself. And you don't know that. The point is that the person himself or herself does not know this, because your programming was done like that. So even if you see others, you don't understand. And even if someone tries to tell you, it's very difficult to grasp it, because you have been programmed like that. And your programming, most of it happens by 7 or 8 years of age. After that you don't change much. After that you just live a routine life. Although it may look like that we are changing, but not much. So therefore this type of self-sabotaging or not taking care of oneself, or this, sometimes it looks like that this person is very loving and kind and sacrificing herself to others, but actually it is not the type of love which I spoke. This is because of that programming from the childhood, and it's a need for them to do this. And in the process they burn out. So that has to be analyzed through psychotherapy or some other means. Like we have this Vedic psychology, developed this to teach this. There are many lectures also available freely. You can watch them. So it's important for us to understand our own mindset, because it's just like if you use a computer, you have to know very well what are the various types of programs in it. Otherwise, how will you use it? So similarly, these are sort of programs which we call as samskaras in Sanskrit, or impressions. So they drive us. They are the one which drive our life. They are the one which give us thoughts, feelings, emotions. Why some people become emotional by certain things, others don't. It's because of that. So then if you observe somebody, you can actually predict how this person will behave, just like you can predict computer that if I give this command, which screen will come up. So it's predictable, because it works like that. It's very mechanical. You had some question?
Hi, it's an honor to be in your presence. How can you maybe use, as a follow-up to that question, how can you use Hindu perspective or principles to address that gap that might be in someone that didn't receive love as a child?
How can you use what?
How to address this deficiency of love in childhood?
Yeah, so for this, as I said, that first you have to study yourself in introspection, or take help from somebody, an expert, which we call as therapist or guru or whoever, counselor maybe. So, or if you are knowledgeable about it or get knowledge, then you have to first know that. And then you have to, as I said, that because these are programs, one thing is theoretically understand how things happen. One other thing is that what is the specific type of program that I have, which is driving my behavior. So once you study that and you understand, then you have to get out of that program. And for that there are certain techniques. One of the, when we come to our bhaktis, we have like mantra chanting, meditation. But important thing is being aware of it. So awareness is very important, because mostly we live our life on the basis of these programs, and we just live like a machine. So certain statements I make and it will trigger you. You have no control over it. Certain statements I can make and you will be just jumping up in the air. You have no control over that also. So we have to take control of our own life. Now our life is not in our control. It is in the control of our programs inside, and which also means that it is controlled by others, because they can trigger any program. It's like you have a computer and then you hit a key and this program comes up. So somebody hits a key by saying something or doing something to you, and then you react to that, and you have no control over it. Although you think that you are in control. Everybody thinks like that I am in control, but fact is not that. So therefore this is the whole process of yoga, bhakti yoga, ashtanga yoga, how to get control of it. And control basically means control of my own mind, which means I have to know these samskaras, and that control happens with one very beautiful faculty which God has given us, that is called buddhi. or intellect. So that's why we have the word Buddha. When we say Lord Buddha, that was not his name. That means enlightened person, awakened. So we all have that. And we all have the possibility to be like that. But for that, as Buddha also worked on himself, he left home as a young man. And then he worked, did practice and got enlightened. So that is the process. So that's very important, and that is what will bring you to this unconditional love which we are speaking. Because unless we get rid of these programs, there is no question of unconditional love, because we are conditioned ourselves. How can a conditioned person act in an unconditional manner? It is not possible. So I have to decondition myself. That is the whole spirituality. Spirituality means deconditioning yourself. So now we are all conditioned. That's why we use the word, this conditioned souls, conditioned beings. What does it mean? We use the word. This conditioning is of the samskaras. So that has to be outdone. That you have to. These are like a virus in a computer. So you have to get an antivirus program to clean the garbage. So that's what spirituality, cleaning the virus. So you clean the virus, and then comes rasa. In Sanskrit there is also word virasa. Now you pronounce it as virus. Virasa means that which is opposite of rasa. Yes. Just like you have jnana and you have vigyan. So there is a rasa, ras and virus, virus, So we have to remove that. So that's what spirituality or sadhana is, practice is. Cleaning, purifying chitta vritti nirodha, right? So there are vrittis, right? So panchataya vrittaya, 5 praman. So praman is fine, but then there is also viparya, vikalpa. So something is actually viparya, but we think of this as praman. That's what is happening in life. So then the process, abhyas, vairagya, right? Abhyas, vairagya, abhyam, siddhi. So why these are described like that? Because what we have inside, we also got it by abhyasa, practice. You practice that. So to get it out, you have to do another type of practice. Antidote. Remove the poison. Yes.
Bouncing off of childhood, I had a male child.
I had
a male child.
Yeah.
And around 2 and 3 years old, started to dress in dresses and wanted to be feminine. And sort of my question is, when somebody changes gender, do you think it's a virus in their computer? Or do you think that it's just the way they were born? Or because people don't treat them kindly, it's a form of protection?
Yeah, there can be many factors involved. There is not just one thing. So there are various reasons for that. And there could be nutritional reasons, because when a mother is pregnant and you know about the chromosomes and male, female. So there are certain, if it is a male child, then certain hormones are needed for it to develop physically and also psychically, as I have been saying. So if you do not get enough of that, then what happens, that body maybe, what you call sex is male, but the mind is female. Because the basic template is actually female. It's only one which makes the difference, right? X, 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 Y. So it's only one that. So basic template of human being is feminine. That's why men also have breast, but they don't develop. So if we do not get that, then this can come. Other thing, there are a lot of problems in modern society, and you see now in modern times this problem is much more than before. Before also it was there because certain things have been existing, not everybody in knowledge of it, but now more. And the reason for that is there's a lot of pollution in our air and food. Like we are using all these plastic bottles. So I read that they have studied that water in the plastic bottle or anything, so certain thing gets mixed up, and that also creates this kind of problem. Because as I said, that food is not only going into our body, but it also influences our mind. So if you read Ayurveda, then it teaches various things. There's a whole section of Ayurveda which deals with pregnancy and what kind of food the mother should eat, what kind of mindset. Because whatever is your emotions, they're also influencing the baby in the womb. So now many women, they are stressed because they're working. Previously women were not that much working outside. They were housewives, and rearing child was very important part of us. The whole society comes from a woman. And now women are working, but that has not changed. It's not that man has shared some part of it, that okay, some children will be born from men, some from women. So that has not changed. So therefore women are doing now double the job. They're doing the job of women also, and also men. But if you talk like that, they will say, oh, this guy is, he's against feminism or, liberation of women. Or it's not like that. We have to understand the system. Men and women, they're psychologically very different. And they have different roles to play. That's why I was saying purpose from the very beginning. That man also has, besides that we all have one common purpose at a higher level, because at the level of the Atma, at the level of soul, there is no difference between male and female. Atma does not have a gender. Therefore, somebody who is man in this life can be a woman in next life. Body is like a dress. Krishna says this in Bhagavad Gita, Vasansi jirnani yatha vihaya navani grinati. So, the dress, you can put women dress, men dress, it doesn't matter, but inside the Atma is Atma. So that, of course, according to the karma, it goes on. So the point is that our lifestyle, our food, our behavior, relations, how children are treated, all this has changed. Now people do not know how to actually bring out a child. So quite often I say that just like if you want to drive on road, you need a driving license. Because if you don't know how to drive, it is dangerous for you as well as for others. You can harm yourself and harm others also. So similarly, to bring out a child into this world, you need a license. Because it is very dangerous. You harm yourself, you harm the child, you harm the society if you create an unqualified member of the society. So there should be some program that before one can actually produce a child, they need a certificate in which they have to do a course. I'm not joking, it should be done. Yeah, it should be done because it's very important. You see, you will not need that many police and that many hospitals and that many courts and judges and system. You will not need this. But now so much money is being, spent on these things. Why not spend 5% of that money and educate people how to be parents? Parenting is very important part of our life, but most parents actually don't know. And previously, because there were joint families, so they don't have to go to school to learn it. It came through parampara, through system. The parents were also, your parents, grandparents were parents, and their parents, so they pass on the knowledge. But now that system is gone. You live somewhere, your parents live somewhere, and then so you don't learn that. It's now even if you start living jointly, it's not going to help because those who are parents of parents, they also don't know. It has broken down, the chain has been broken down. So therefore such a chaos in the society, then you need so many laws. All the time new and new laws are coming, and police for everything. And everywhere you have to put camera. So you are trying to control from outside. But if you train the person, first of all, the child is produced in a manner, the way he or she should be produced, and then he is treated nicely. You don't have to control. The control will come from within. You will be a balanced person. And don't need so many laws. So now this is all over like that. Indian society was like that, but here also everything is now broken down because the state is democratic state. There is no provision to teach this. It's against law to teach Bhagavad Gita in India. You cannot teach. So crazy because they are influenced by the West. And West is, everybody knows, a lot of problems, and more are going to come. Just wait another 15, 20 years, bigger problems are going to happen. Because the problems, the root cause of the problem is not being addressed. Okay, anything else?
Hi. You spoke about, my question is, if a woman doesn't want to have children, does that mean that she is not fulfilling her purpose or is selfish?
Yeah, if you see from Creator's point of view, this is true. And in fact, generally, she herself would not be fulfilled. Because actually she is designed for that. But now because we have been trained so much to, think that we are independent, which is just a myth. And there is no difference between male and female. We are all equal, which is also a myth. We are not equal. And where we are equal on certain ways. Okay, we have 2 eyes, 2 ears, nose, tongue, all this, 2 legs, 2 hands. But there are so many things which are not same. So why we have to just neglect that part? It's not going to go away by neglecting it or talking like that. So it doesn't go away, then what happens that we just, sort of brainwashed in a way. Okay, don't do it, but creates many problems, at hormonal level, physical level. A lot of problems. Actually, women are facing so many problems, more than men now, in the name of freedom. But what can be done? Because now they themselves want it, and they have been programmed to think like that. So it will definitely create some sort of incompleteness. But because I am trained to think in a way that why shall I do it? I live for myself. And then YOLO, you live only once. So that is another idea which has been programmed. So all these are very problematic ideas because they are not true. Once you die, you have no control whether you have to take birth or not take birth. You cannot say, I don't believe in it. Believe or don't believe. You have no control over it. The reality does not depend on your belief. That is a fact. And you cannot bend it.
Where do we go from here?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Where do we go from here? The problem is that we don't have much ability to bring a large-scale change. All we can do it at our own level. Because we are not the controller of the state. And those who are sitting in power, they don't give much value to these types of ideas. And not only the majority of people are not interested in it. Majority of people are not what we are saying. They don't agree to this. So it's very difficult. So all what we can do is only at our level, whatever we can do, understand, practice, and if we can influence 1, 2 or more people, that is good. But it's very difficult to do at large scale level unless the state is involved. Because there has to be change in education system. So in India now Modi has brought a new policy of education, fortunately. But it will take a long time to bring it out. At least they have understood that this is the problem. Previously, when India became independent, the rulers of this country, they were all educated in UK, London, So they were absolutely brainwashed by that. It was basically brown skin with British mind. So they made all education policies, everything what British had, So now this is the first time after 75 years of independence that Modi is trying, but there are a lot of opposition to him, as I said, that not many, we are here, we may agree to what I am saying, but there are many people outside who would not agree. So if you propose anything like this, they will laugh at you or they will oppose you. So that is also happening with him. So he understands quite good, means this principles of life, which is very wonderful. And he is a very controlled person. But he just one, even his colleagues may not agree with him. These days democracy is not that you are king and then everybody has to follow you. Plus you are only there for 5 years in India, America 4 years. So then you are removed if you don't get voted, and people don't listen to. When you want to bring a change, people always resist, even if it is good. Why? Because we are programmed, So to do anything against the program, even if it is a virus, you get used to virus also. It's like people get used to smoking. Not only get used to, they get addicted to it. Now smoking is absolutely unnatural for our system. Even person who smokes can understand this. But still they do it. Why? Because they're programmed. They're driven by the program. So they cannot stop. So that's where you need your buddhi or willpower. That's very rare. It's very easy to fall, difficult to stand up. Going downhill is easy. Gravity helps you.
Hi again. I've been here 3 times. It's good to see you. Oh. What is that? Oh, I turned it on and off. Okay. Okay. Hello again. I've been here 3 times before. It's good to see you. You talked about everything in this room having a purpose. You talked about smoking not having a purpose, I think.
No, I did not say that.
Oh. Oh, okay.
I said it's a virus.
Okay, it's a virus.
Virus also has a purpose.
Okay, so
A lot of people work for it to create, right?
Okay. Okay. Well, yes.
Purpose can be good or bad.
Okay. What about psychedelics when it comes to the spiritual path or healing or finding those viruses that were put in you at an early age?
Our system, Indian system, does not recommend it. Although in Yoga Sutra there is a mention of it, interestingly. I don't know if you have studied Yoga Sutra? Yes? So the 3rd chapter, 1st sutra, actually makes a mention of it. But it has to be done by people who are really knowledgeable about it and in a very controlled manner, which I don't believe at present there are people like that. I know there are people doing mushrooms and ayahuasca and all those things. And I also know people who have tried them and they were very happy and elated and I got this. But after a few months, they're completely crashed. So I personally don't recommend it unless one is actually a yogi and knows what is going on. Because this can damage your brain. And the beauty is that you will not know it. It's like when you dream, you don't know that you're dreaming, unless it is a lucid dream. But in general, when you dream, you don't know you're dreaming. It's only when you wake up that you know. So similarly, these things, you cannot get spirituality from that. Okay, certain things can be revealed, there's no doubt, because you can approach certain parts of your brain, which at a normal consciousness you don't approach. But you cannot help, it won't help you. This is my firm conviction.
Hi, thanks. Thank you for being with us.
I've seen people who did LSD and they were seeing Krishna Loka and this. Yeah, I know people like that.
Thank you for being with us. I want to go back to what we can do as individuals. And my question is, can we distinguish between one's purpose in life and the goal of life, the goal of one's life?
No, there's no
and
distinction.
is the goal, is a goal of life to seek enlightenment? And if so, what do you say to people who are on that path but maybe aren't destined for full enlightenment? I think there's a risk of causing people to feel shame if identify a purpose or a program, like having children, and they're not achieving that. So my question is, can we distinguish, or is it helpful to distinguish between the purpose and this goal of enlightenment, or is there a goal to
there's
find peace?
You see, first of all, what you can distinguish is that there is ultimate goal and then there may be secondary goals. Because there cannot be just one. So there is ultimate purpose. It's like suppose you are doing business. So what is the ultimate purpose? Generally speaking, that you want to make money. So that is the ultimate goal. But in between you have to do so many things. Suppose you have to build something, so then you will be more consumed with that. That is also your goal, to do that. Or hire people. But these are all for the ultimate goal. So we have to understand that ultimate goal is enlightenment. And then I will have other goals. I will need money, for example, to survive. I need food, house, cloth. If I'm married, have children, I have to take care of them. So then I need job. So that is also my goal. That's why in our Vedic culture we had dharma, artha, kama and moksha. 4 goals. But all these 4 are not ultimate. Ultimate is moksha. But to reach there, and because I have to survive here in the material world, I need also dharma, artha and kama. So my money making is also there. And enjoyment is also there. But that should be done under the umbrella of dharma. So at present what is happening in the modern society, that it's only artha and kama. There is no dharma, no moksha. So it's like you have a car but only 2 tires. So then the journey is going to be very jumpy, bumpy. So that's how people's life is not very smooth. So we have to know that, because human life is designed for that. And I said, everything else which you are doing, animals do better than you. They don't go to college, university, work hard. They eat, they sleep, they don't have diabetes, don't have sugar, blood pressure, hypertension, this problem, that problem. They're doing better than us, right? They don't need hospitals, police, courts. There are no wars going on. So why is this? Because we are actually not doing what we are meant to do. So in Sanskrit there is a sloka which says, ahar nidra bhaya maithunam cha samanam etat pasubhir naranam dharmo hi tesham adhiko vishesho dharmen hina pasubhi samana. So it says human beings and animals, they have 4 things in common. They eat, they sleep, they procreate, they defend themselves. If you analyze all your activities, that's what you do. If you are making money, why you make money? Eating, sleeping, defending. Anything else, everything will fall in these 4. He says, but human beings can do one thing extra, and that is they can get spiritual knowledge, or they can understand what is dharma, which animals cannot do. We have the ability to acquire knowledge and pass it on. Like we are sitting here and talking, they cannot do this. The dog is living today the way it lived 1,000 years ago, right? But human beings, every 10-15 years, so much, now especially so much change is happening. Previously changes happened, but more slow. Now very fast after industrialization. 16th, 17th century, changes started happening at a rapid rate. Before that people lived also very standard life. But still there was change. When a puppy is born, it is 100% dog. When a human being is born, it is not 100% human being. You grow and learn so many things. And then you can be 10% human being, 20% human being, or 100%. So 100% human being is the enlightened being. That is your capability. And below that you can have any percentages. But this facility is not available to anyone else. So therefore we have to have our ultimate goal, and then all other goals should be geared towards that. Then there will be no problem. Otherwise, your goals also keep on changing. When you were a child, you had one. When you grew up, another one. When you were in college, another one. Then later on, something else. So then, a lot of work you have to do for that. You have to learn this. So many things. You are doing job in one field. You are not satisfied. Then you do another. So this goes on. Okay. All right. So, thank you.